DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Tonight, Delaware's corporate crown at the risk, the push to keep big businesses from leaving the first state. Plus, neighbors versus the Delaware Art Museum, why some say the popular outdoor events are just getting out of hand. And it may be frigid outside, but high school sports are heating up as winter playoffs approach, from wrestling to state champs to basketball rankings, and a major leadership change is coming to UD. We've got all your local sports headlines straight ahead, those stories, your local forecast, and much more. DETV News begins now. Hello and welcome to DETV News for this Wednesday, February 19th. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for being with us. Here's what's making headlines today across the first state. More than 200 folks gathered at Rodney Square in Wilmington on President's Day to protest President Donald Trump's agenda, alleging it undermines the Constitution. The demonstration was part of a nationwide 50501 movement following a smaller protest in Dover earlier this month. The event coincided with similar rallies across the country. Protesters voiced their concerns over Trump's executive orders, many deemed unconstitutional by federal judges, and the administration's disregard for court rulings. Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings, alongside colleagues, is challenging these actions through lawsuits, recently securing a restraining order against the Department of Government Efficiency's access to Treasury data. And in other news today, Delaware lawmakers are united in a bipartisan effort to retain corporations amid concerns that major companies are considering relocation outside of the first state. Known for its business-friendly environment, Delaware leads the nation in corporate incorporations, but companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and TripAdvisor are apparently reevaluating their presence due to a shifting legal climate. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk famously advised against incorporating here in Delaware after a lawsuit loss. In response, lawmakers introduced a bill to clarify protections for corporate stakeholders. For House Minority Leader Tim Dukes, who emphasized the importance of maintaining Delaware's respected legal framework, Governor Matt Meyer has shown his support for this initiative. And residents near the Delaware Art Museum have filed a petition claiming outdoor events are disturbing their peace. Over about 20 neighbors from the Highlands neighborhood allege that the museum's amplified concerts disrupt their quiet enjoyment and violate alcohol service regulations. Well, in response, Museum Executive Director Molly Giordano denied these allegations, asserting compliance with noise regulations and limited outdoor events after 8 p.m. To counter the petition, she launched a campaign that has garnered over 2,300 signatures in support of the museum. The Delaware Office of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commissioner is reviewing this matter. And a new bill in Delaware could make the state's constitution gender neutral. House Bill 10, introduced by Representative Melissa Minor Brown, would remove gender-specific pronouns from the Constitution following a similar law passed last year that updated the Delaware Code. For example, instead of saying, quote, the governor may appoint an individual if he or she deems them qualified, the new language would read, quote, the governor may appoint an individual if the governor deems the individual qualified. Supporters say the change makes laws clearer and more inclusive. The bill passed out of committee in January 29th and now heads to the full House for consideration. Meanwhile, lawmakers are also pushing for broader inclusivity. A separate bill signed into law in November of last year now includes asexuality and pansexuality in the state's definition of sexual orientation. And 8 months after removing Superintendent Daniel Sheldon during a board meeting, the Christina School Board is moving ahead with its search for his replacement. The board is currently in the middle of 5 stakeholder feedback sessions being held this week, both virtual and in person, to gather input. Interim Superintendent Bob Andrzejewski has been leading the district since Sheldon was placed on administrative leave back in June. The district also launched a 31 quality survey That's simply asking the community to rank the top qualities they want to see in a superintendent. That survey closes on February 24th. The superintendent position, offering a salary of up to $250,000, is open for applications through March 16th. Interviews are expected to begin in late March, with finalists selected in early April. Also seeking citizen participation is the city of Milford, where city officials are encouraging residents to participate in a community survey aimed at enhancing long-term planning. The survey seeks local feedback on services, quality of life, and areas needing improvement. Mayor Todd Colota emphasized its importance for understanding residents' priorities. Initial responses indicated desire for more downtown housing and vibrant retail options. A random selection of households will be invited to participate starting on March 6th, with the survey closing on March 20th. Results will be reviewed then in April. And as Milford residents weigh in on the future of their city, one thing no one can control is the weather. And we've got some changes in store on the way. Shakara is here in studio with a look at the forecast. Let's see what she has in store. Hey, Shakara.
Hey there, Matt. And DETV fam, I know it's been cold, and unfortunately, it's going to stay that way through the weekend. It may warm up slightly, but let's see what we have in store. On Feel Good Friday, expect sunny to partly cloudy skies with a high of 39 degrees and a low of 18 degrees. So if you are headed out, be sure to bundle up with the warm coat, the scarf, and the gloves, especially if you are headed to attend the First State Ballet Theater's performance of Triple Bill at the Grand Opera House. Enjoy an evening of exquisite dance, and it starts at 7 p.m. On Saturday, expect increasing clouds and a high of 39 degrees. Now, Saturday will be a nice day for outdoor activities or some family quality time, so consider exploring the Delaware Art Museum. And wrapping up the weekend on Sunday, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 46 degrees. Stay warm, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and back to you, Matt.
Shakara, thanks so much. We'll see you next week. In more headlines today, 4 crew members were safely evacuated after their tugboat caught fire in the Delaware River south of the Delaware Memorial Bridge on Tuesday morning. The Coast Guard received a distress call around 9:30 in the morning, and nearby Good Samaritans assisted in the rescue. Coast Guard units from Philadelphia and a helicopter from Air Station Atlantic City responded, alongside partner agencies from Newcastle and Salem counties. The fire was extinguished by Tuesday afternoon, and the vessel is currently under tow. The cause remains under investigation there. Further south, the Delaware Department of Justice has announced the conviction of a Smyrna man on multiple charges for the armed rape of a family member in 2024. Prosecutors say 35-year-old James Wheeler was apparently visiting an apartment back on May of 2024 when he produced a knife and raped a female relative. The attack allegedly occurred not long after Wheeler had been released from prison for a previous assault conviction. Wheeler was later found and arrested in Dover on June 2nd. The Department of Justice says Wheeler was convicted this past February 7th of first-degree rape and a slew of other charges. Prosecutors say he faces a mandatory 32-year sentence and could receive multiple life sentences. To Sussex County now, where a house fire on Griff's Way in Seaford, which occurred on February 16th, has been deemed intentionally set at the Delaware State Fire Marshal's office. Responding fire companies found heavy flames at the one-story residence shortly before 12:30 in the afternoon. Fortunately, no one was inside. An investigation led to the arrest of 87-year-old Robert Emons, who faces charges of second-degree arson and first-degree reckless endangering. Damage is estimated at over $700,000. The Dover Police Department has arrested a 16-year-old suspect linked to an attempted burglary at Cosmic Smoke on February 19th. The teen is also implicated in a previous burglary at the same shop on February 14th, where suspects broke through a wall. After the owner reported an active break-in just after 1 in the morning, police discovered a broken window at an adjacent business while fleeing from officers. The teen was apprehended nearby. He faces multiple charges, including burglary, theft, and resisting arrest. Authorities continue to search for 2 additional suspects. You can contact police with tips at 302-736-7130. Delaware's paramedics are now fully equipped to carry whole blood for emergency use, With the Delaware State Police Aviation Unit joining the effort, Kent County paramedics initiated the program back on November 24th, while Newcastle and Sussex counties began back in May of 2023. Notably, Newcastle County marked its 150th blood unit delivery in November, with Sussex County reaching 100 units. The state police's helicopters are fitted with blood warmers, ensuring rapid transfusions in the field. This innovative program aims to reduce preventable deaths from hemorrhaging, improving trauma care across Delaware. And a heads up, the boat ramp and parking lot at Ingram's Pond in Millsboro will close on Monday, February 24th for construction. The Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control announced that a new ramp, courtesy dock, and expanded parking lot will be built, with completion expected by the end of May. Ingram's Pond is a 24-acre freshwater habitat, and it's popular for sports fishing, hosting species like largemouth bass and bluegill. And from the great outdoors to the indoor action, local athletes are gearing up for their shot at championship glory. High school sports are heating up with winter playoffs right around the corner. Let's dive into all the action, starting with a big change at the University of Delaware. Nick is here with more for us. Hey, Nick.
Thanks, Matt. And high school sports are heating up. Winter playoffs are quickly approaching, and some have already arrived. We have crowned our DIAA Division I and Division II dual meet wrestling state champions. Plus, the basketball rankings continue to shift ahead of tournament play, and the successful athletic director of the University of Delaware is stepping down. So a lot to get to today, but we're going to begin with the University of Delaware, where athletic director Chrissy Raywalk will be stepping down from her current role and will become the new CEO of USA Swimming. USA Swimming put out a post on X this afternoon announcing the hire, and then Raywalk followed with a post of her own, as you can see on your screen. She says, "Honored, humbled, and excited for this incredible opportunity. Can't wait to get to work to make the future of the sport I love most." So again, Raywalk leaves as Delaware prepares for its FBS and Conference USA jump next season, and Deputy AD Jordan Skolnick will take over in the interim. So some big news for the Blue Hens here to kick us off on a Wednesday. Now to the mat, as the Delaware dual meet state champions were crowned over the weekend, as I mentioned earlier. In Division I, it was a battle between number 1 Salesianum and number 3 Sussex Central, with the Sals getting the victory in this one 43-28. Coach Cam Davis, his second state title there with Salesianum. You see them celebrating in that championship picture on your screen. So Salesianum kind of rode that top spot throughout the year, and they finish at number 1 in Division I. Then in Division II, it was the number 1 ranked Seahawks of DMA going back-to-back with a win over number 2 St. Mark's in a rematch of the finals from last season. This time it was DMA 42-24. As you can see on your screen, Coach Collier with his second state title with the DMA Seahawks. Again, he did it against his alma mater, him a graduate and state champion at St. Mark's High School. So DMA on your screen, they go back-to-back. So state champions for the DMA Seahawks in Division II in back-to-back seasons. Well, before we move on, let us get one last look at the individual wrestling rankings ahead of conference tournaments that are coming up this weekend. You can see them on your screen here, brought to you by 302 Sports and Benny Mitchell there. Here you go. Take a look at some of the weight classes, your top 6 wrestlers, all coming up here, the conference tournaments this weekend, and then state championships at Cape Henlopen the weekend after. So again, it all starts this weekend with the conference tournament. And don't forget, 302 Sports will be bringing you live coverage of both the Henlopen and Blue Hen Conference Finals this Saturday on YouTube. As you can see there on your screen, all you have to do is search 302 Sports, and again, you will find that live coverage on Saturday evening. Now we finish on the hardwood with our high school basketball rankings. As things are getting tight down the stretch, we're going to wait and see who makes this postseason tournament coming up here this weekend. Playoff basketball begins next week, and the committee will be finalizing those seeds on Friday morning. So let's take a look at the final rankings of the regular season, and we'll start with the boys. And sitting up there at number 1 is the Sanford Warriors, a big win for them over St. E's over the weekend, followed by St. E's, Dover, William Penn, and Sally's. The Sal's getting hot towards the end of the year as well, followed by Howard, St. George's, Conrad, who's 17-3, Odessa, and Apo rounding out your top 10. Again, those are not seedings. Those are just the rankings heading in to the postseason. Now we're going to take a look at the girls' side of things, and a familiar team up at number 1. It's the Sanford Warriors, grabbing that top spot in the rankings here in the last week of the regular season, followed by number 2, Ursuline, number 3, Caravel, St. E's at 4, and Padua at number 5. And rounding out the top 10 will be Smyrna, Polytech, Dover, DMA, and Cape Henlopen. And a reminder, brackets for both the boys and girls will be out on Friday afternoon. And then the most fun part of the season starts, Matt. Playoffs are here. Things really starting to heat up.
Nick, thank you as always. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. And that's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us all across your favorite social media platforms for updates on what's happening across the state of Delaware. And of course, if you have a comment, question, news, or sports tip, we want to hear from you. Contact us at press@detvch.com. For Shakira, Nick, and all of us here at DETV News, I'm Matt Ford. We'll see you right back here next week. Good night. We don't talk about prostate cancer enough, and it's the most diagnosed form of cancer and the second most common cause of cancer death among black men in both Delaware and the United States. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, but just by asking your healthcare provider if you should get a screening could help you detect prostate cancer early and save your life. So let's talk about it. Talk to your healthcare provider today about a prostate cancer screening if you are 40 years of age or older, or have a family history of prostate cancer. If you don't have insurance, or if your insurance doesn't pay for cancer screenings, Screening for Life may provide you with the screenings that you need, and Nurse Navigators make this process easier. To learn more, visit healthydelaware.org/prostate or call 211. Ask your healthcare provider about a prostate cancer screening, and you're asking for so much more.
My name is Jason Aviles, and I am the founder and owner of Fly Yogi, and I'm here to share with you some tips to be able to help fight opioid addiction. Opioid addiction is a real growing problem here in America, and I'm here to share with you some tips that you can be able to integrate into your everyday life to really fight against opioid addiction. One of the first things is redeveloping your mindset. One of the practices that I like to use daily is meditation. And what meditation does is it brings you clarity of mind, and it helps keep you grounded, and it improves your ability to make decisions that you are going to benefit from. A lot of the time we find that addiction is rooted in our mindset. It's rooted in how we think and how we perceive, and therefore how we act. So this is a really good way to help fight against that energy of addiction. The second thing is improving your lifestyle through diet and exercise. At the very root of addiction, there is substances within the body that's causing the addiction on a physical level. When we begin to introduce healthier foods, plant-based foods, we begin to remove and detox the substances that are in our body that's causing and attracting the addiction. So through incorporating more fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, and even drinking water on a daily basis, you're gonna put your body in a state where it's going to be able to fight the root causes of these addictions. The second part is exercise. Exercise is good for mood. It's good for energy. It's good to increase vitality. It's good to get your heart pumping and get your blood flowing and get oxygen moving throughout the body. So through engaging in physical exercise, complemented by incorporating healthier foods, you're putting your body and your mind in a state where it does not want what's causing these things that are manifesting negatively in your life. So addiction can really be decreased by just incorporating a healthier lifestyle through diet and nutrition, exercise, and then also making sure that you're tackling the mind through mindset, through meditation.